Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Imai. Today I'm representing Shumei International, not the Shumei International Institute. The Shumei International is part of all Shumei family, and then mostly working like a kind of this one. I don't want to use UN NGO, but Shumei is recognized as a UN NGO, and an NGO type of work within Shumei activity that is Shumei International taking care of. So in my case, I work for Shumei International for the Shumei natural agriculture activity outside of Japan. And in most of the case, so-called developing nations, such as the Philippines. Today I mostly talk about the Philippines, and also Nepal, and Madagascar, Zambia, and Brazil, and those countries' activities. And when people come here, the Shumei activities around the world, and most of the case, the red one, activities by worldwide Shumei centers. The Shumei Pasadena Center is one of them. And within Shumei, the blue one, I mean activities by Shumei International. Then the Shumei activities, the local activities here, Los Angeles, New York, and San Francisco, Hollywood, wherever when we have a Shumei center, Shumei activity has three core activities. One is Jore, healing method, purification of the spirit, and appreciation, art and beauty, and natural agriculture. Then when it comes to everybody understands when they come here, Shumei has Jore, natural agriculture, and appreciation, art and beauty. But it's a very limited information available when people come here about what kind of activity we are doing globally in Africa or South America, things like that. So I just really wish people are aware of the organization we are coming here, and the organization we belongs to is working with people in those developing nations. And the natural agriculture, Meishu-sama said, the founder of Shumei, Mokichi Okada, Meishu-sama said, the fundamental principle of the natural agricultural method is an overriding respect for nature. Nature can teach us everything. As we are human, we have a physical body and a spiritual body. Animals and plants and everything has a spiritual aspect. Because of that, when we work with nature, all of nature is conscious, intelligent, and sensitive. Especially intelligent, and which means ability to react, adapt, and predict. Just like when we talk to people, people understand what I'm saying, and they feel what I'm feeling, and then the communication happens. So all the nature, especially for the agriculture of the seed, plants, and the soil, has that kind of ability. Because of that, when we practice agriculture, there are three key elements: farmer, soil, and seed. So when we practice natural agriculture, of course, we don't use any chemicals or no the fertilizers to keep it pure. And the seed, we use indigenous, local variety of seed and seed saved, because they have a memory and understanding of climate and farmer. Then the farmer, what we can do is love, care, and gratitude to the food which we receive. And also, Shumei natural agriculture is not only for farmers to grow healthy food, but this is a message to all people as a way of life. So, how to live in harmony with nature. And as a farmer, we don't use any chemicals, and also saving seed. Those are the practice a farmer does. And as a consumer, we have to live in harmony with nature. In today's society, we normally decide the menu tonight, what we're going to cook tonight, and go to the market and buy whatever we need to. But when we start become a natural agriculture consumer, it doesn't work. When the summertime is maybe a lot of tomatoes, but the winter we cannot expect tomatoes. Sometimes we may have a lot of pumpkins, a lot of potatoes. That's the season. So then to become a natural agriculture consumer and to live in harmony with nature, we have to decide the menu based on what is available. So that is a good learning process. Such a natural agriculture consumer can work together and support a natural agriculture farmers practice. So with this whole message, we working together with the farmers around the world. And when we come to US, Japan, or Europe, most of the case, a lot of people are consumers, and a very limited number of farmers. So a lot of consumer education is an important part of natural agriculture. But when we come to developing nations, such as Zambia, there are more than 70% of the populations are farmers. So the farmers are consumers. And then, especially when we go to the rural area, they don't have any concept of farming is not a job. It's a way for them to live and survive. So there is no choice. And only farming is available. So farming is very important part of their life. And then together with education, and when they sick, what to do with them, go to doctors, or everything is around the farm. So when they change their way of life as a farmer, also they are changing as the consumers. So it depends who are the audience, our activity is different. But always the message of natural agriculture is, the question is how to live in harmony with nature, as a consumer or as a farmer. Mm-hmm. So now, let's talk about the Shumei Philippine activities. I'm very glad today we have Reggie, 23 years ago. This is Reggie's sister, Ruby, who is living in the Philippines. And this center, Pasadena Center, was October 1992. So just before 23 years. At the time, Reggie came to our Hollywood Center and started giving jore, and she invited her sister Ruby from the Philippines for the opening of this Pasadena Center. And she...
Do you know she came to see Reggie. Reggie was dying. And Ruby wanted to see her sister. But Ruby was surprised that Reggie is so healthy, right?
Yes.
You are supposed to be dead.
She asked me what happened. She came to visit me because the news in the Philippines is I was dying. But I was really sick. I had a heart problem. So I quit my job. I couldn't work. Even household chores, I couldn't do it until Naoki,
Japanese boy.
Yeah, a Japanese boy knocked at my door and asked if he could pray for me. And he gave me jore for a week, every day. And then after a week, I told him, you know what, I've been feeling well. And he said, oh, it must be the jore. Yeah, and you should talk to Eugene Sensei. He can explain more. So that's the time after that, I became a member. And that was I think it happened that it's going to be the opening of this center.
Right.
And my sister was there, so we both attended the opening. Yeah.
And Ruby also received great miracles.
Yeah.
Right. What kind of miracle?
Pardon?
What kind of miracle she?
Well, at first he didn't believe what I was telling her. And then Naoki came at the house and he said, I'm not really feeling well, But he said to her, she said to herself that if I told her, receive Jorei from Naoki. I said, if I feel better, then I'll believe you. She felt better.
No, tested.
She felt better and she believed it and she became a member.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why she became a member.
right.
Then she returned to the Philippines.
Then she returned to the Philippines and she started giving Jorei.
A lot of people
A
joined.
lot of people. She went to the squatter area,
Yeah.
to the poor.
Right. So she was the person who introduced Jorei and Shumei philosophy to the Philippines.
Yeah.
So, she said in the beginning, a lot of people, Jorei, you must come. And then I went to the Philippines and stayed with her home.
Mhm.
So then the beginning, in the morning, we chanted together
Mhm.
and they gave Jorei those who working for her, including drivers, and give Jorei. Then after that, they gave us a ride. And there were about 15 or 20 people waiting. and then without much explanation, we have to give it Jorei. Because she said, well, people are waiting. So she and I, just two. And then 20 people waiting. And just after Jorei, next, and we drive. Another 15, 20 people waiting. From the morning to the evening, just gave a lot of people Jorei. And then when we returned her home, her husband came back from his work. And then we gave him Jorei and have a dinner together. And so tired and slept the next morning, just give Jorei once. So I really felt, we need to send someone. People are waiting for Shumei philosophy and Jorei. And one of the students staying here, Niru Fukui, he committed, okay, I'm going to the Philippines, and with Eugene Sensei's support and permission, he became the first Shumei staff in the Philippines. And he got married, and this was about maybe 10 years later after Ruby started giving Jorei in the Philippines. Then year before, Pasadena Center was opened, 1991. The Mount Pinatubo, the volcano eruption happened June 15th.
Mhm.
And this was a huge eruption. And because of that, the people living on the mountains, they lost their house and the farmland. Everything was covered by volcanic ash. And the river was completely covered. And so one organization, this is the famous TV station, AVCHD, and this foundation decided to help support those who lost from the mountains. And they gave a land and then accommodate those people and gave them a land to cultivate, which I have no idea. And then one of the board member of this, the organization, was participating in Earth Day event. And then Shumei Philippines, they set up a booth and sharing Jorei and natural agriculture. Then this man stopped by and he started interested. Maybe Shumei, you can come to my organization, help support the farmers, those who lost their house and farm. So in 2003, I went to the Philippines. And so that time he showed me on the way, see, on the rooftop, it was covered by ash. This is already 12 years after the volcano eruption. And just like this, this house cannot use anymore. And the big church became, 2-story high, became, half a story. The second floor they go in.
Second floor.
So this, the organization started building construction, and around here there are many small houses, farmers are living. And this man, originally from India, he's living in the Philippines and started organized called Total Rural Development. And then when they listen to his plan and the philosophy, it's very similar to Shumei. And then also I present the Shumei organization and the local the vice mayor of the city, and also the vice governor of of this province also came. And then many people started interested and then showing us their plan. And then he said, from here, what I looked was, this is a land, if you come, you can start natural agriculture, share with your philosophy to the Filipino farmers. So, following year, 2004, we became a partner, and we sent a man from Japan, famous, he passed away already, Mr. Murata, from Shumei's Kishima Island. He been practiced over 30 years natural agriculture. And he designed this area, and quickly, because of the high temperature and also high humidity, plants and trees grow so quickly in the Philippines. So this is May 2004, and then next year, already July 2004, you see the difference happening, and in December 2004, already a lot of planted, and rice paddy field also ready. And 1 year later, March 2005, you see the trees already growing so quick. And at the beginning, these banana and the plants, and then quickly in 2-3 years become like huge tree. And this one become just like this in 3 years. And this is originally when he planted, and then maybe 3-4 years become like this. So surrounded by just rice paddy field. This is the only place have a tall tree, and the inside is very cool. So people come here and they take a seat and relax. And so this one became like this. And then the tree I planted when I first visited, and in 4 years become like this. Very quick. And so when this the project began, many people interested, but in this, because maybe this is a project done by Japanese organizations and already enough the resources to develop, but the local farmers cannot access. So we had many interest from international organizations or those who working for the university and came here find out about natural agriculture. But for farmers, when they come here, instead of interested in natural agriculture, they are interested in the machines. How much is this one? How can we get this one? So it's no way, message is going out to the local farmers. So we decide we should do something local small-scale farmers can afford to do it. And in that process, she is the president of the AVCHD and the foundation.
You know?
Yeah. And over the years, this organization changed a lot. And the person who started the total rural development from India was used to be her, the ex-husband, but he was somehow not allowed to be head of this project, and so Shumei continued doing it, but the organization changed so much. So then eventually they changed the name AVCHD Ecology, Eco Village. And from Mr. Murata together, from the beginning, this man stayed in the Philippines. But unfortunately, he doesn't speak English. He doesn't speak Tagalog, the local language. So and then she's doing natural agriculture by himself, which is every day he was very quiet. Of course, he speaks to the plants. But as a human, no human communication. Even though people are here, he doesn't talk. It's a little bit not healthy. So we saw the hardship to living in the rural area in the Philippines without any, the experience of communication. So all these things happen. The time comes, we should leave this project. And already, these plants have become like a forest, and the beautiful the garden was made. But again, our interest is more like a local, small scale, this poor farmers around. So they are the one need to be helped. And so this project shift in that directions. And through this activity, towards the end of Shumei Garden, AVCHD hired the project director, and we became very close. And then he became more interested. He and Mr. De Castro and his wife interested in Shumei philosophy and the natural agriculture. And so, as he was leaving from the Philippines, we hired him as a project director of Shumei Garden in the Philippines. And he has a lot of connection with local people, and then because she's a university professor, Philippine University professor. So in that relations, they introduce a lot of people for Shumei activities. And so this project was closed, but through this, through him and his wife, we met this man. His mother was activist during Marcos time, and then she was a college student and working with under his mother. So then he has huge acreage of the land near Manila. The project site, the Iba, is about 5 hours drive from the capital city, but he has a land about 1 hour and a half. Tanai, it's a nice, beautiful area, and he let us use for natural agriculture project. So even though that Iba Shumei farm was closed, but through him, natural agriculture activity continue doing even closer to the Manila. And he developed a beautiful natural agriculture at the Shumei farm near Manila. Then, so this is his farm, and then easily the farm, people in the Manila have access to natural agriculture vegetable from his garden. And now, so this Iba farm surrounded by small scale the farmers without machineries, using cowbow. Cowbow, what to say in English?
Caribou.
Caribou. So these farmers, we started working with them. Shumei was introduced to this man, Ramon. And he himself is a rice farmer. Also, he speaks English and then several local language. So when we go to the rural area, people use different local languages, but he understands everything and then translates for us to English. So he's very knowledgeable, and also has a farm. He himself farmer, so people trust him. And then he organized a number of small-scale farmers, and these are the farmers first started Shumei natural agriculture rice production in the Philippines. Then when we had a winter time, the dry season, we had a first natural agriculture farmer conference. And that time, interesting is this is a coupon, fertilizer discount coupon with a president face on it. So when farmers receive this, they want to keep this because at half of price they can get the chemical fertilizers. And then like the president guarantee this is good. So it's very difficult to change their mind. And what happened is one farmer stood up and show farmers what happened is because of the chemicals, their skin damage what happened, and then really they're talking about what's the benefit of not using chemicals for the farming practice. So that was the beginning, and about 20 natural agriculture farmers started from rice productions. And uniqueness of the Philippines is again the climate. In Japan, in the winter, spring, and summer, autumn, and harvesting, in the winter comes. But the Philippines has everything at the same time. So this one is preparing seedlings and then transplanting rice. And this area is harvesting rice and drying on the boat. So everything happens at the same time, always going on. So as long as if they have a water, throughout the day they can grow anything, except like rainy season had many heavy typhoons comes. So other than that, Philippines can grow easily. And this is Ramon's natural agriculture rice field. He is also very good at drawings. So when he visit farmers, not just talk, but he prepare. And the radio, a lot of the government, propaganda, and then the farmers listen and what the government says is good. But the reality is, by buying fertilizers and chemicals and a lot of huge financial debts, and at the beginning, and huge heavy things on the chemicals on the farmers. Then at the beginning, chemical farmers doing very well compared with the natural agriculture farmer. But over the years, they lose everything. The natural agriculture farmers are doing better. When he showed this, and the farmer said, so he was very good at. And around him, many small-scale farmers and convert to natural agriculture. Then eventually, we create Shumei natural agriculture textbook in local language. And the many farmers join and the meetings all over the place and sharing the philosophy and then practice natural agriculture. There's some people living in the mountainside, not much rice, but many vegetables they grow. So every year, once, at most twice, I go to the Philippines and visit those farmers and meet and how they are doing and I listen to them. And some are young and then some are elderly, the farmers. They are experienced the farmers, but everybody had a very small land. And one very good treatment is coconut in the Philippines. Coconut milk is very fresh. And this is very good, I can tell. It's good for kidney. Very good. Because I check my the kidney condition every day. Immediately after taking this in the second day, I can feel the change difference. And have you seen cashew nut fruit? Cashew nut is, this is cashew nut. And each fruit can have one.
Only one.
Only one. And this fruit also sweet and sour and tasty, a lot of juicy, but only one. Because of that, it's expensive. And also, because a lot of bananas, and the lunchtime comes, always they cut the banana tree and they prepare for the plates and the rice and the vegetable and the fish comes. It's nice, refreshing, sweat a lot, but and then still the volcanic ash from Mount Pinatubo is all over the place. And one year, 1999, heavy rain and typhoon came. Though the ash came down from the mountains and they covered, and the whole river moved to the different locations. And then people, this area used to be a village. And those people came from the mountains and they established a village and a farm. All of a sudden in September they lost everything one more time. And so government allowed to build their house along the road. And because of the bamboo and available all over the place, and a simple house was built, and the international organizations came in and helped, and they built a tent, and people was living in the temporary place. And so then we Shumei, our farmer also, they lost their land and house again. And we work with local people and donate, because again, this school become from 2 story to 1 story. Again, ashes came down all over the place. And so this is a temporary school, and we donate a toilet. And also in the backyard, they started natural agriculture. Some group of farmers, because of ashes, the water no more come to the river. River is the other side, so they lose water for their field. And that summer, the dry season has no water, so farmers had nothing to do, because without water they can't cultivate anything. So some years are okay, some years are very difficult because of typhoons, and to continue, up and down, and the happening. And then today, about 4 different locations, farmers, those who are growing vegetables, some are growing rice, and all different kinds of groups of farmers get together, and they're sharing what they do. And the first time those farmers meet together. Again, along the road, nice picture, and talk to them about Shumei philosophy. And those farmers, I'm very interested. When they prepare, each group present what kind of activity they are doing. It's a nice drawing. They adult farmer was working very hard and making a wonderful drawing they make. And each group stood up and they share their activities. So these small-scale farmers, they aware about natural agriculture farmer and what they practice and their philosophy, and then sharing the message to the neighboring farmers. And this old lady also very active, and each time when we go, she was talking to the farmers about the benefit of natural agriculture. Then eventually, after all these meetings, we Shumei staff gave Jorei. And Ramon was always with us and learned how the Jorei affect the farmers. And he himself wanted to start to give Jorei. Then finally, Ramon received Hikari and started giving Jorei. And I went to his home, and very comfortable place. And his wife waiting for us, and she was very happy to start receiving Jorei from the husband. And from then now on, Ramon included in his talk about the Jorei and the spiritual aspect of Shumei natural agriculture. He strongly said we have to understand the spiritual side, otherwise we don't understand natural agriculture. And so he talked about Jorei, and then after the farming gathering, we share Jorei. Now Ramon can join us. And last year, out of this activity, about 3 farmers started giving Jorei. So nowadays, when we go there, those farmers together, we give local people Jorei. And then they very much appreciate the basic study course provided by Shumei America. So these farmers, this week his home, and next week his home, everybody get together and then start make some philosophy, and also once a month they take a basic study course. And these farmers, the children go to a school, and the school project began. Then once a month, Ramon and the Shumei farmers visit school and talk about Shumei philosophy. And then after that, always I feel the Shumei and the Philippines children's eyes are so clear and beautiful.
Yeah.
And just looking at their faces, and I feel so something I myself cleansed by their pure eye. And so I just took a photo of their eyes. Something different. And after that, they took us to the backyard, and this is their children's garden. And some children, because all parents are farmers, so they know how to farm. And so the elder kids is actively working in the field, and they're very happy, not just study in school, but in the field work with all children come together. Then each time we provide some food. And sometimes, they don't eat much at home, so we provide food for the children. And through these activities, children's parents also interested in natural agriculture. Then after school, we visit their village. This is the village. They are in the houses, very small house, and they have the vegetable garden around. And they grow vegetable, they eat, but they have no place to sell. And so it's not, they don't have any cash income.
Why don't they sell? Why don't they sell?
Very far away. They have no access to bring vegetable and no market around.
So no customers.
Right. So what Shumei does is Ramon go there and explain how our system works. And what to do is we buy from farmers those vegetables, whatever they are available. So this time they brought bananas and pumpkin, tomatoes, and eggplant. Those things they bring in, and then we buy from them. Then they have a cash income. And then every week we buy from them. And because this has to be natural agriculture, no chemicals, nothing. And then Ramon buy around from the farmers every week. And Friday. And then Friday night, Friday, Ramon is always traveling, and whatever vegetable available, he buy. And this man is expert of banana. So he showed us his field, banana garden. So these are the one Ramon collect and they put on, they bring to the bus station, and then bus about 5 hours later, bus arrive in Manila, the capital city, and then Shumei staff go to the bus station and they pick up these natural agriculture fruit and vegetables, and then Saturday is the farmers market. So then this is a very wealthy area, Makati, Manila. And so this is a farmer's market, and the organizer of this farmer market happened to be Mr. and Mrs. De Castro's close friend. And so it's very much like a Philippine, tropical fruits and the vegetables available. And then there are Shumei booths. So every Saturday we present Shumei natural agriculture fruit and vegetables. Once we taste natural agriculture mango and papaya, we can eat chemicals. When I go to the Philippines and stay in the hotel, the fruits are waiting for us. Compared with this and natural agriculture, no way to eat. So different. So the people know. So everybody come here and buy it. And sometimes a huge amount of vegetable, and if left over, everything Reggie's sister Ruby buy everything. So every week everything gone. And then they buy from the farmers, so that every week farmers have a cash income. And then purpose is not making money. And then when we sell, somehow the more it's called higher price. Profit. They deposit into their bank account for the farmers project. So when a group of farmers needs something, this fund go there to help them. So every week they accumulate profit for the farmers' activity. And so together with the farmers' photos and natural agriculture, the tasty, very tasty, this is sweet potato and the lemongrass. So consumer comes and together with sharing joy at the booth. Also, through these the vegetables, we had a connection with Temple Hill School. This is a very wealthy family. The children participate, and Ramon go there and show them talking about natural agriculture. And the principal of this school, this lady, committed the agriculture is a very important part of the education. And then if she does offer the education, she doesn't want to use any chemicals. So the Shumei natural agriculture really fits her philosophy. And then first year, not only children, but the teachers. Most of the teachers don't have experience working in the field, in the vegetable garden, rice paddy. So some teachers don't want to. So what she did was, she fired all the teachers, those who rice paddy field, and then recruited new teachers. And then teacher have to show them that the children working with the soil is important. So the school changed so much. And then teachers and students does agriculture together. And one year, a huge typhoon hit. So then the children's, the rice fell. Not only the school, but all over the Philippines. But this rice came back, had a good harvest. They received attention from the government, and the Minister of Agriculture, the Secretary of Agriculture came to visit, because his son was one of the students. So it was, on the newspaper, and also introduced through the internet. And so she is the founder of the school, and she is a writer. So then, through these, our farmers market and through those connections, even the community in the wealthy community in the Manila, we can share the philosophy. Then always a hard thing for me is because they dry rice on the road. We have to drive over the rice, which we don't want to. So then at least Shumei natural agriculture farmers, we donate blue seed, so that instead of dry on the street,
Or a
they
tarp, you mean a tarp? Blue
Tarp.
tarp?
Blue tarp.
Blue tarp, T-A-R-P.
tarp or tarp.
Big
Okay.
plastic sheet.
Yeah, big one.
It's called a tarp.
Yeah, they use that. So each group we donate, so that they, this farmer use and the next farmer use, so that they can separate from the rice with conventionally grown. And so this, harvesting by hand, and then they collect those rice with the help of the cows, and then eventually they dry and the rice come to the Manila. Now what they are looking for is this machine, what to call
Is
it?
it a shredder?
Yeah,
Shred it to shred.
shredder for rice, but this is too expensive to buy each family buy. So they wait until neighboring farmers finish, and then they can use. And the next target is they wish to buy Shumei natural agriculture farmers shredder. So
Is it
that's
shredder, right?
Maybe not shredder.
No.
Thresher. Thresher.
Thresher.
Yeah.
Thresher. Take the rice.
okay.
Thre-
So this
Thresher?
is the one they want to buy. And then last time in March, when I was there, they wish to buy the new one for Shumei rice farmers, so that they don't have to wait for the conventional farmers finish and cleans. And so now I wish to have your support. And every week they collect deposit, vegetable and the rice income, and they targeted $1,500. And if we could receive some support from US $1,600, $8,000 can make this machine for the group of farmers.
Okay.
And because when we send the fund from US to developed nations, because of the security reason, a very strict rule from US to send to those countries.
Mm-hmm.
So then Shumei International Institute pressed on being sending funds to Zambia and Madagascar. So if you make a check to Shumei International Institute, or if we call SII, we can use credit card,
Mm-hmm.
and then those donations, when we accumulate in the SII Developing Nations Fund, we can send to the Filipino farmers.
When is the deadline?
No deadline.
No deadline.
They are every week they're working on this.
Okay.
So my wish is maybe because every year Philippines has an anniversary in January.
January. Okay.
So next year in January,
Hmm.
if we come up with $6,500, it's going to be a very nice gift to the Philippine Center.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And then when we buy those machines, they can take photos, and then they can send to the Shumei America, and then we can closely work together with those small scale farmers in the Philippines and then US. That is my hope.
So it's better we ask individuals to donate to SII
Right.
for the Philippine project.
Uh-huh.
But as a Shumei America, we like to know how much has been donated.
Collected, right. Okay, you found that.
So it's SII can tell us how much,
Yes, yes.
who donated.
Uh-huh.
So I can ask other centers. So we can make a big chart, the goal.
Right. Just
You
like
can
our
know.
anniversary.
Right. So we know how much we've been raising.
So if Shumei America members talk to their friends, my organization is helping support our friends in the Philippines. So now I wish to see many people support and then directly connect with the US and the Philippines.
Reggie, do you have any idea how we can ask your group? Do you think they can support this?
Yeah, maybe you just have to talk to them and explain to them, and maybe you could have a flyer or something to show them.
We have this,
Okay.
we can print
Yeah.
with this information.
How-
somewhere.
It's very difficult for you to go to many places. Maybe we can make a short video. Mitsunari can make like a 5 minutes video
About the Philippines?
about this project.
Okay.
Alan, you give a lecture here once a year. So maybe when you do that, you can have an afternoon presentation. You can do this presentation when there's a lot of people here.
Okay.
You'll be
Okay.
coming speak when
It
which
will be in
month?
November.
That's a long
This
time.
year.
Long time.
Anyway,
No.
still, that would be the best time.
Mm.
Or at the anniversary if there was space.
Mm. Okay, I think video can help. Yeah. So I can talk to Mitsunari.
Yeah, I talked to him. He's now the big project of Zambia 10th anniversary video.
Oh, so when is the
It's over August.
August? I think. So until August
Yeah, it will be.
he's busy. Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
I'd like to know the story in short with flyer, not just flyer.
Story.
Story behind that touches people's heart more.
Okay. Well, can I use today's photo? how they are doing.
Yes. I think those photos are very helpful.
This is very concrete way, they are helping small scale farmers.
Yeah.
Because, again, they don't have any access to the market. They know kind of income. But it's not only just they can find a place to sell the vegetable, but also these, the profit also supporting these Filipino farmers. I think they are doing wonderful work for farmers. About 100 farmers are going to this activity right now.
So Shumei's way to help them is we help them to become independent.
Yeah.
They don't have to keep receiving the help. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
If you have.
About how many farmers do you think would be affected by getting a thresher? How many would be using it to start?
At least about 60 farmers,
Wow.
rice growers.
For one treasure?
They just bring around.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But this is only for natural agriculture farmers,
Of course.
because we don't want to mix with conventional rice.
Yeah.
Wonderful benefit to practice natural agriculture rice in the Philippines is they don't have to worry about weeding. In Japan and everywhere, biggest issue is weeding because they don't use any herbicide. The weeds grow a lot with the rice, and then the amount of harvest declines so much. But the Philippines somehow
No weeds?
no weeds.
Oh, yeah.
Why? We don't know. As long as covered with water, no weeds.
Are these fields all around the Pinatubo volcano area?
The farmer came down from the mountains
Okay,
and
different.
then built a village and started a rice paddy field.
But Pinatubo erupted and affected those lower areas too.
Also, yes, especially after the heavy rain or the ashes come down.
Right.
And then
Is it
wash
the
them.
ash that is stopping the weeds? That's my question.
No,
No.
not necessarily.
Okay.
And even the different
I
areas,
think water
maybe high temperature.
temperature.
So as long as the soil is covered with water, no weeds.
Right.
In Japan, we have to go help them for weeding.
Yeah.
Well, here, such an easy way. And also, the lemons, the amount of the yield, harvest is growing every year. Also, tastes so good.
Right.
So the rice is adapting to the land
Right.
there.
But one unfortunate thing is those who are aware of quality of rice in the city, they tend to eat brown rice. And then what's happened is when they
Thresh?
husk out, already become white, not brown. The machines in the Philippines. That's why we cannot have natural agriculture brown rice. That's another issue.
Oh.
If we
Why?
have
So because
in the process of husk out, together with brown rice part is gone and become a white rice.
That type of rice is
Not the type of the rice, the type of the machines.
machine.
So we can buy a different machine.
Yeah, eventually, because they don't have a fund to do that. But if we eventually we can donate that machine, just like we did in upstate, Northern California,
Right.
then it's a big investment for them. But then they can have a brown rice.
More
natural
expensive?
agriculture. I don't know.
So the red kato machine will thresh it and keep it brown?
This one is this kato machine.
Kato machine.
It's just graying out
Yeah.
from the rice.
Right.
That's the only
the
thing.
thresher.
Yeah. And then from there we have to go to the machine to process the husk.
Okay,
Take out.
remove the
But
husk.
this machine is take everything out to become a white rice.
Too strong. Too
And
strong.
many consumers in the Manila waiting for natural agriculture brown rice, not the white one. That's the unfortunate thing.
That should be adjustable though, then.
Adjustable, but
Yeah.
very limited adjust.
Okay,
That's the next target.
right.
And then we can not only vegetable and fruit, but also rice we
So-
can provide to the Manila. That makes a huge difference.
Okay.
Well, step by step.
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay.
I have a question. Every single project in developing country of that Sensei taking care of are very fascinating, very great progress. And Sensei, do you have the plan made at the beginning, or how you can make progress like wonderful, this wonderful?
I don't have any plan. So that's why I'm saying this is very not the Philippines already we've been working for more than 10 years, but like Madagascar, only 2 years now. But already we receive government support, and then the last trip in March, I met Minister of Agriculture. He sent an agricultural technician from the government to our village, a small-scale farmers village, because of the cricket. Millions of cricket comes and they eat rice plant. That's the biggest issue in Madagascar. Then I show a photo of Shumei natural agriculture vegetable farm in Japan, surrounded by conventional farm, rice field. The conventional field was totally damaged by the insect, but the natural agriculture field was clean. So when I showed this photo, he was amazed. He himself was an agriculture technician, so he said his face changed. And then we have to pay attention to this.
So the crickets didn't eat the natural agriculture rice?
Right. And then what happened is our village, 9 farmers, small-scale farmers, practice natural agriculture. Then rice, for them, they said traditionally we don't use it. My parents, my grandparents don't use it, so that's why we don't use it. And I asked him, if we don't give you free fertilizer, what's he gonna do? Well, I give this to my friends and make some money, and then we don't use my own place. So this village, entire village, not using chemicals, many years, generations. Then what they said, the cricket, what's happened? They said they just over our village and go
Fly
home
over.
and raise. That's why we already, natural agriculture rice farmers in Madagascar. Then we invite the government technician to that village, and they really now researching why this village has no cricket damage. So, these things happen very quick. So I wish, but Shumei philosophy, Jorei, this one takes time. I've been working here with Yunji Sensei for 30 years. This one takes time, but this is important. But these, working with the developing nations with natural agriculture spread so quickly. And in Zambia now 6,000 women family doing natural agriculture. So, I wish this work together. We all Shumei work. And Shumei philosophy and the natural agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you.